Here we go. Jeff Carroll, Sci-Fi Express Lane. I think the best thing I like to do on these videos is to really talk about my comics and my writing, not hating on anybody else, not hating on any other one, but you try to be a solution, right, to the problems, and talking about what people should do, what should be done, is nothing like being able to do it yourself. I started a company in high school by name only, Red, Black, and Green Promotions. Took it to college, wrote bios for artists, covered comedy shows, and then when I graduated college, I turned it into an entertainment agency. And I worked and represented comedians, poets, other live entertainers. And that was beautiful. And I felt that I was serving a purpose. Around 2003, I started making film because I liked movies, and I thought movies were a way of, black movies were a way to do something, and have an impact on the community. And then I started making comic books after my second movie, Gold Digger Killer. It won a couple of film awards, and I was getting into all these festivals, and I said, wow, how about I make a comic book to this movie? And I did Imani the Killer, which was a spinoff. Only one issue came out, but the second issue and the rest of it is legendary. The feeling of putting out your own thoughts and your own ideas as a way to answer back. When I started writing books, my first book was the novelization of Gold Digger Killer, which was a message film. But at the same time, the first full book story that I wrote was a response to The Mummy with Brandon Fraser, where they made Imhotep a bad guy. I wanted to make something that responded to that, and I did Thug Angel, Rebirth of a Gargoyle. And that was like revolutionary. It was like, I always say, like a business card, a representative of what I thought should be done out there. There's a lot of similarities with a lot of other black sci-fi, with the elements in Thug Angel. I also have similar elements, to Black Panther. We're all on the same page, and it was so beautiful. So now, I look back and I'm ready to launch this biggest Kickstarter that I've ever launched. I'm going for a goal of $3,000, right? I've already shelled out $3,000, easy, between the covers, between the interior pages, just to get those illustrated. One more thing I got to get done is the manga tribute cover, and I don't know what happened to the artist that I wanted to use, but I think I'm gonna have to switch up the artist. Either way, I'm gonna launch it without the manga tribute cover. That's gonna be a late Kickstarter announcement because I got to get this Kickstarter going. But Thug Angel was the catalyst, because FangerNails Ghost on the Mountain is the name of the Kickstarter. It's the name of the graphic novel. It's gonna be 110 pages of story, and then we're going to do a little bit of extra with some covers. I might do a little interview, may do a little tie-in map to some of the other books and stuff that I have. I don't know, but I'm going to do, it's going to be a fan collectible edition, right? FangerNails, Annie, and Zinga is her name, is the daughter of Thug Angel. So this goes back to my original character. I'm giving away the PDF of the book of their origin stories. And in that book, you have how Annie became a gargoyle, and you have how Thug Angel actually became a gargoyle, because he reminisces and explains to her how he became one and the process of making her one. And then it gets into the background stories of how she met the ghost. Doesn't give the ghost origin story. I'm going to write that into something else. And kind of her friend Mercedes' first time well, when she really tries to, first time using a spell on a ghost, right, on a spirit. And I'm just so excited to be able to do something like that. This is my 13th Kickstarter, and somebody was like, well, you know, there was 12 disciples and Jesus made 13. This is going to be good luck. This is good karma. The number 1 and 3 add up to 4, and 4 is a divine number. I'm like, listen, there's ways to make it all sound good, right? I am just excited because, you know, my first series, The Last Harlemite, was a expanded series. I wrote it as a one-shot, and it really gelled with me and the illustrator, and I said, you know what, let me go 4 books. So I wrote 3 more, but I didn't write all 4 books at the same time, you know. So this FangerNails Ghost on the Mountain was written all at the same time. I picked up the pen to write the first book. I knew where I wanted to go with the 4th book. Now, summer, you know, I'm going to do a blog. I'm going to mention Stephanie Williams, right, in this particular Kickstarter explanation, because it was her story, Roots of Madness, that really made me feel the completeness of a 4-book series, or a 5. I think her series was 5 books. But when I compare that to one-shots, this is really where you get the chance to tell your story. Now, mind you, all comic books, graphic novels included, are short stories. Movies are short stories. The longest story that you'll get is in a novel, okay? But in a graphic novel, it's almost the equivalent of a movie. It's the closest thing to a movie. You know, some people do 5, 6 book series. Same thing. It's equivalent to a movie. So when you are getting this FangerNails Ghost on the Mountain, you're getting a complete story. I ended. It's not a one shot. It's longer than that. There's ups and downs. Things that I couldn't do in a one shot, you know, because you have, you know, your hero gets lost and goes get somebody else. That can't be but 2 pages, 3 pages. They got to get it back together, you know. Your highs and the lows, I got all of that. But almost every character experiences a high or a low, and the story is a good representation of what I can bring to writing. Is the angry black man? Not necessarily. I mean, I'm super black, angry black man, like my super black story. I can't wait to bring that back, maybe 2027. But what do you call it? FangerNails is good, Jeff. You know, I made it so it's all ages. You know, if you can read it, you can enjoy it. It's not blue, but it is a mystery. You know, it's like Scooby-Doo. It's not as silly, but it has some fun to it. This could be animated. This is going to be a beautiful thing. So, also FangerNails, I want to do a young adult novel, right? I also want to do like a children's book. Some of the stories, like the background story of the ghost, is a little adultish, you know. So I don't know if I can do her story like that, but I have a school class trip story where they go to Africa that I think is going to be a beautiful graphic novel. So I want to spend some time to do that. And really, this graphic novel, young adult novel, that would be a young adult novel. This graphic novel is really the catalyst to all of that. I mean, things started with Thug Angel, and I'm happy to have, you know, that's one of my favorite books among readers. It's my wife's favorite book. Thug Angel is a character that if I ever had to be any one of my characters, I would love to be Thug Angel, even over Super Black, right? So Thug Angel and his universe, which includes FangerNails, it includes the Twa Man, brought in the Black Nun. I brought in Baba, right? These are all characters from my movies, right? So in the Kickstarter, you'll be able to get the movies. You'll be able to get Thug Angel. And then it's Ghost on the Mountain. So you know where it's taking place? Negro Mountain. I mean, why use a different mountain? I already have mountain in my universe, right? So I have a book that's going to be hardcover, should be out by now. There was some health issues in my publisher's family, so I'm giving him space. But it will be out. It's going to be a hardcover. We already got the cover reveal. But the story is called It Happened on Negro Mountain. And that is the mountain that is where FangerNails goes in this adventure. I bring in my character. If you watched any of the Baba trilogies, that is The Death Pledge, Conjuring Baba, or The Black Nun, which are all my movies, I call it the Baba trilogy, you will see me play a character in there called Dr. Bryant. Now, I softened him up. I wanted to make him more over the top like Dr. Umar, but Dr. Umar is so hard to pigeonhole and say stuff. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes he's like out of there and I don't agree with him. So my character ended up more like Dr. Leonard Jeffries in New York. If you know him, that's one of my mentors. He's somebody that I met my freshman year in college, and he's been a friend of mine and a mentor of mine ever since. So the character that I play, Dr. Bryant, is based on Dr. Jeffries, with a little bit of Dr. Umar, and maybe in some of the other movies and books that I do where I bring in the Dr. Bryant character. He'll be a little bit more Umar-ish, but right now he's settled around Dr. Leonard Jeffries. So, you know, this character, I mean, this project is embodying a lot, and I am loving it. It follows the second book. So the second book of FangerNails is the first chapter in FangerNails Ghost on the Mountain. Okay, and then there's 3 books after that. So the first 20 pages or 25 pages is book 2 of FangerNails. And the cool thing about that was I have the trilogy, the 3 of them. It is Annie and Zinga, Savannah the Ghost, and Mercedes that wants to be a witch, right? She loves the paranormal and she wants to be a bruja. She's Puerto Rican, so she wants to be a bruja. In the first book, I had Annie and Savannah able to talk to the cat Kim, right? And they call him Kimmy. Kim means black in Kemetic writing, and he's a black cat, so they call him Kimmy, right? And in the first book, all he do is talk to Annie and all that, and that's cool, and Savannah. But I put it so that way in the trilogy, in the next, in the graphic novel, he plays a bigger role. He is a part of the team. In the second book, Ghost in the Projects, he plays a big role in that, you know, and that is his role. So, like, from the second book all the way to the 5th book, he is playing a major role in the story, and that's something I'm excited about. So anyway, the Kickstarter will be up. This video, I may make another one. Maybe I'll get a little bit more of what a gargoyle is, a little bit more of Negro Mountain. I'm gonna save it, you know, because I want to talk about more and I want to do a lot of these, but I keep to my 15-minute limit. So that's it. This is Jeff Carroll, Sci-Fi Express Lane. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right, I'm out.